Hello everyone and welcome back to Navis Novalite. Now that I am done being infected by literally every single disease ever, I am back to making my tutorial videos. Now, we are going to be going over the Pleasure Fleet of Slaanesh today. Now, for all of you who've played the Berserker Fleet of Khorne, a lot of the elements of this fleet are very similar to the Berserker Fleet, namely the desire to get really, really close to your enemy. While the Berserker Fleet focuses on really, really nasty assault boat, storms, and boarding actions, the Pleasure Fleet actually functions very differently. It works on disabling the enemy's ability to really control their ships in the way that they really want to. So if you get close enough, you can start shutting down their ability to make special orders or prevent them from doing it entirely. This level of unique table dominance really shines in the Pleasure Fleet, and I'm going to try to explain that to you and how to build this particular fleet and how to use it. Because what you're going to find is you're going to have elements of your fleet that are really dedicated to getting in super close, and other elements that are dedicated to staying far away. So you can take the advantage of, an enemy that can't brace for impact, while you have really good firepower at range, bombarding them and blowing them to tiny little bits. So, knowing that the Mark of Slaanesh is kind of the slept-on mark, people tend to take it the least, I'm going to show you how to use it to some really good effect in this fleet. So let's begin with command. First, you have the Fleet Commander. Now, the Fleet Commander is pretty much identical to every other, Chaos War Master in any of the big four lists. He's 100 points. He must take the Mark of Slaanesh, which means this is actually 125 points. I wish they just made this the total amount of points. His leadership +2 to a maximum of 10. And he may be given an extra reroll for 25 points with one reroll standard. You have Chaos Lords, just like in the Berserker Fleet. You can take them on any capital ship, apart from the one with the War Master. You all know this pretty standard by now. He can be given a single reroll for 25 points, used on his ship only, and he may take a Mark of Slaanesh. The Mark of Slaanesh, any enemy ship within 15 centimeters is -2 to their leadership. It only doesn't work on Grey Knights. You may take a Planet Killer. If Abaddon is in the game, he has to be on that ship. You may take a Chaos Party Hulk, because if it's Mark of Slaanesh, it's Slaanesh Fleet, it's a Party Hulk. Battleships, you may take the Wage of Sin, only one of them for 430, and then you have your standard spread. Excuse me. Gotta love COVID. Anyway. And the rest of your vessels are pretty standard. Your Grand Cruisers, you have the standard spread with the standard requirement. Heavy Cruisers are the same. You have the standard spread with the standard requirement. And you can take up to 12 cruisers of any of the standard designs. Moving down, you may take Chaos Space Marine crews. They're Emperor's Children. They may have Mark of Slaanesh. They may have Chosen Terminators. So no surprises there. And you may take Demon ships. You have the specific setup for rules on what you can take. Note here, you may take Battleship Demon ships. You cannot do that in the Khorne list. But in the Slaanesh list, you can. Now, Forces of Chaos. Now, this is the unique rules for the Pleasure Fleet. You may take the Veil of Lust for 20 points. Any ship with the Mark of Slaanesh may take and be obscured by a Veil of Lust. Ships firing on this vessel on the gunnery table suffer a right column shift before any other modifiers, making them harder to hit. You also have Siren Summon. This allows you on up to 2 ships with the Mark of Slaanesh, including the flagship, may take the Siren Summon when within 15 centimeters of a vessel. With Siren Summon, enemy ships cannot take special orders or make leadership checks of any kind, including brace for impact. So what you can see is that they are trying to get the rules of this fleet are telling you that they want you to get with enemy ships within the zone of the Mark of Slaanesh. By doing so, you have the benefit of a excellent defensive ability here with the Veil of Lust, and critically the Siren's Summon. which prevents enemy ships from bracing for impact or really doing anything but just moving and shooting. So, let's go have a look at the Wage of Sin and why it is such a fantastic vessel to take. Now, the Wage of Sin is expensive at 430 points. What is its real claim to fame? Well, it's what happens when you take a Desolator and you slap a Devastation on it, okay? It has a port and starboard, strength 4 lance battery at 45, a dorsal weapons battery at strength 6, front, left, right. I'm sorry, it has a Styx on it. My apologies. It has a launch capacity of 6 and a prow torpedo salvo of 9. It has everything you could ever possibly ask for. It is the perfect Chaos battleship and easily the best of all of them. It comes with the following. You may only have one. It can't come new heading, no surprises. It has a Mark of Slaanesh. Oh, this is interesting. I may have been wrong before. It does not have to be paid for separately by the ship's commander. So if you do have your... Oh, wait, no. This comes with the Mark of Slaanesh as part of its point cost, so the commander still has to buy the Mark of Slaanesh. That's lame. At least that's how I interpret this. This may need to be better clarified in an updated version of the PDF. Now, if you take it, the Wage of Sin must be your fleet's flagship, unless the Planet Killer is there. No surprises there. Now, Palace of Pleasure. The glittering domes and spires of this ancient vessel are dedicated every perverse and extreme form of stimulation imaginable, and always retinue of noise marines have made it their permanent conveyance. The ship always counts as being crewed by Emperor's children. Okay, so it has Space Marines. It has a Mark of Slaanesh. So, in the end, this has, again, all of the toys. It is also the single best Chaos battleship you could ask for. It has everything you could ever want. A withering, good range, setup for lances and torpedoes, and weapons batteries are good enough to knock down shields, and it has launch bays. It has everything you could ever want. So obviously I will be making a fleet with that beautiful, beautiful ship. Now, what does this kind of tell us about how to build our fleet? Well, we obviously need ships to get in within 15 centimeters of the enemy fleet to prevent them from making lock-ons, reloads, brace for impact. But we have this battleship that is really good at range and really, really good at shooting things and dropping torpedoes and being just an overall excellent fleet carrier and weapons platform at medium to long ranges. So what we need when we're building our fleets is good long-range support and good short-range support. We need something to go in quick, we need something that can survive well in close combat, and something that can start really knocking down leaderships and hitting things with Siren Song, so the enemy can't brace for impact when things like the Wage of Sin start shooting it. So, we are going to pop out our handy-dandy calculator and start building a couple of fleet lists. So let me just show you my mystical, magical calculator. Boom, there she is. So let's begin. First things first, I'm going to work under the assumption that we have to purchase the Mark of Slaanesh with our Chaos Warmaster. If through rules clarification, which I will try to get as quickly as I can, you don't need to do this if you're slapping him on the Wage of Sin. Just take 25 points and throw Mark of Slaanesh on something else. Okay? In this fleet, more Marks of Slaanesh are kind of better. So here we go. We have 125 for our Warlord. Excuse me. Go away, Nurgle. I'll make your fleet later. Okay. We have our basic Warlord, and we're just going to, go ahead and buy the Wage of Sin right now. So 430 points. So we're already a fifth of our 1,500 point list in. But what we need now, what we have is a good carrier support, and we have good fire support. What we need now is something to go in and start knocking down enemy leadership. So we need fast ships. So today we're going to play the slaughter game. I'm going to grab 3 slaughters, minimum, okay? So that'll cover our battleship requirement, and we now have 3 slaughters that are good, fast, effective in close combat, and pack a punch. And while they're not necessarily the most durable thing, we can change that. Why don't we give 2 of them the Mark of Slaanesh? Oh hell, why don't we give all 3 of them Mark of Slaanesh? That means if they're all within the leader, if we have a bunch of ships in the same zone, we're going to be knocking down leaderships by like 2, 4, 6. The more the merrier. Now, we are probably going to be wise to give the Veil of Lust to all 3 of these ships to make them harder to kill. So that's 60 points for those 3, and we're going to give 2 of them the... Actually, you know what? We have 3 in there. They're hard to kill. We're going to save a little bit of points and only give 1 of them the Siren Summon. Okay? So now we're at 210. We have a little bit of room. Add in a little bit of ranged firepower. Now, we have a lot of choices for ranged firepower. We can take... Well, we're sitting at 210. We have 290 points to play with. Okay? Well, gosh, we have a lot of things to pick here. We can take a Retaliator Grand Cruiser, which has decent firepower, but has more launch capacity. We can take a Repulsive, which is the best point-for-point ship in the game, and we can upgrade it to give it better shields and better lances, and trust me, we'll have good ranged firepower out of that. We can take an Executor, which has 6 lances on both sides, and we can take a Vengeance. We could also, if we wanted, take a Acheron, which would give us room for more marks or upgrades or rerolls. Acherons are actually very good fire support platforms at the 45 to 60 range. I wouldn't recommend Hecate or a Styx. You could take a Styx if you really wanted just to get to more launch capacity. That's only 2 extra lances though, and maybe a couple of extra weapons batteries. And we have launch capacity here. We have launch capacity 6. Not the highest amount, doesn't need to be the highest amount, because the enemy is going to have more than enough problems with a bunch of marked, nasty little slaughters rushing down its throat. We could take another slaughter if we want. We could go up to 4 slaughters and just have a bum rush fleet designed to get in, disrupt the enemy formation with horrible leadership loss, shoot them to tiny little bits, and make it really hard for them to kill. You know, by giving it another mark and giving it the Veil of Lust. I'm going to be... Or we could, of course, take escorts. We could always take escorts. Nothing wrong with escorts. They are very viable in this situation. We have this beautiful window of points that you, the player who is listening to this, can take full advantage of. I'm going to be a little bit of an edgy boy and go 255. I'm taking myself a Repulsive Grand Cruiser. And you know what? I have a good amount of points here. I'm going to give my Repulsive a Chaos Lord at 25 points. At 490, I've got a pretty good list right here. Now, I do have a 10-point hole. You could probably fill that in with a different composition of ship. You could take the Retaliator. That would instantly fill it up by another 5 points. You'd be at 1495. You really want that tough, mean, repulsive Grand Cruiser to fly alongside my battleship, giving it extra fire support, giving it, having that strength 14, 45-centimeter broadside with those 3 45-centimeter lances. This is just a nasty, brutish little fleet. I highly recommend this. In fact, I don't even see it really in need to make a secondary fleet because, again, we can just take away 255. We can throw in, and take away that Chaos Lord. We can throw in anything here, and every dynamic of the fleet changes. We take a Retaliator. We could take a Styx. We could take an Acheron. We can take a squadron of escorts. And you have this massively disruptive fleet that all you have to do, doesn't matter how damaged those slaughters are, all they have to do is get in there and start knocking down enemy leaderships, and then you have good long-range fire support to start picking the enemy apart, just bit by bit, bang, 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 bang. You can dump into them, Emperor's Children, Space Marine, death claws start disabling ships left and right. They can't make brace for impact. Excuse me. So this fleet is entirely dedicated to shutting down the enemy's ability to do anything. Now, it's a high-risk, high-reward fleet. You do have to get close. A lot of enemy fleets are really, really good at close combat. You get into the broadside of an Imperial Navy fleet, you best hope that the Veil of Lust helps you out. It may not. You're going to be sacrificing slaughters, just so you're aware. But that's really what they're there for. They're cheap, they have good firepower, they're really good at knocking down shields and causing 1 or 2 hull points here and there. While the Wage of Sin and your whatever long-range fire support platform that you've brought with it are, bombarding it from a long range. So, I hope all of you enjoyed this video. I hope this was useful to all of you Slaanesh players. I hope you enjoy playing with the Slaanesh fleet as much as I do, because nothing makes the blood pressure of your enemy go up than having them realize, wait a minute, you're telling me I can't brace for impact on my battleship? Have a great day, everyone, and I'll talk to you all in the next video.